All right, so this next section is about grooves, and this could sort of almost be its own lesson. You can apply it to anything within the blues. It doesn't have to be this, this set of chords necessarily, but it's really important. If you can copy, the best licks from the best players, but if you don't play it in a groove, it's not going to sound right. All right, so that's a lot of the sort of like the secret sauce or the hidden glue that ties stuff together. If I was just playing single notes, let's see. What you don't see is like there's the groove that's behind it, which I was sort of giving an extreme example there without hitting any chords, but what holds all that together, what sort of makes it look easy, or what it looks easy because I'm just playing notes. But what you don't see is just it's like I practice playing in a groove. So it's like now when I go to play single notes, it's like I'm still carrying the groove. You can see me tap my foot, but it's like the invisible sauce that's going to hold everything together. So when you're working on your riffs, you have to have the foundation. You have to have a rhythm, okay? So that's why I think it's really important that we go over this. Now I'm going to give you some specific grooves, and I've been looking at this for a little while, just different grooves. I think you can sort of boil them down into some basic ideas. So let me just give you them. I've come up with 5 basic grooves that I want you to learn. So the first one I basically call trip D rest. I might have done a YouTube short on this, but a lot of these blues are in a triplet feel. Trip D to triple T, triple D. So what I mean by that, if you count 1, 2, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's your basic shuffle. What you'll usually do is you'll tie the first 2 together. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Or you can say trip D, trip D, trip D. Okay, we just speed that up just a little bit. Now what you can do to get to this first groove, you do a trip D and then a rest with the same amount of beats, like trip D, rest, trip D, triple D, trip D, trip D. So trip D, and I do like a little percussive bump on the rest beat. But hold on, we're not done yet. So it's going to be trip D, trip D, trip D, T. So where you're going to hit the last chord punch 1 triplet beat before the end. So instead of like, so 1, 2. Let me show you what it's not. That last one was just a little bit late. We want to hit it. So trip D, rest, trip D, triple T, trip D, trip T. So think of it on the T if you were saying triple T, triple T, triple T, triple T. T is where you hit that last one. Triple T, trip T. So hopefully that made sense. Without me blabbing over it, it's going to sound like this. So that's the basic groove, okay? So once you have that down, play that over and over until it's, well, first of all, play it make sure it feels good. Let's switch to the key of A just because my ear is getting tired of G. Try to hear some notes in your head and just add them in. All right, so now Each groove is going to have like its kind of sweet spots of where you can add in notes. So there's kind of two approaches to this. One is just to hear it. Just throwing the notes where your ear tells you. But then there's also the other approach is like to sort of plan it out a little bit, and there's going to be certain beats where it just makes sense. It just sounds musical to start there. I think in this kind of groove, it's the triplet beat before the bar. So, you know, just like we talked about, the last one is trip D T. That is like one triplet before the start of the next bar, and that's the same place where you're going to start your single notes. So just to give it, let's keep it simple. Let's go to our root note on top, something like that. So you could do it on really any of these bars. Let's start from the last one and then work our way back. So trip D, trip D, trip D. So it's basically just like the riff, but instead of hitting the last chord, I'm gonna start my lick there. Now let's do it again, but now this time we'll do it on the third chord, but just one triplet before the third chord, maybe something like this. Let's see. Okay. Now let's go to the second one, so we're starting even earlier. And you could even turn it into like a one bar riff, like a, you know. So that's another concept, one bar versus two bar. So play around with all of those. Anyway, that's the first groove.